viewfinder. 12 Stone's new album, Picture Perfect. Is it good? Well, you'll find out later. Now, in all seriousness, we gotta get right down to business. So today we are getting ready to do a full review of the album Picture Perfect. You wanna know why? Because I feel like it. That's it. Okay. So Picture Perfect. What does this say? A snapshot in time, right? A glimpse into somebody's life or in your own life. You know, it could have been a perfect time, it could have been an awesome time when that picture was taken. So that kind of gives you possibly a scenario or a setup for what the album could be. So let's just dive into some of these songs so that we understand where this guy's coming from, where this, these artists, where this band's coming from in general. Because 12 Stones has been a pretty good band. You know what I mean? They've been a pretty consistent band, had some solid songs, nice Raise the Roof, uplifting, maybe some emotional, songs here and there, maybe some ballads and all that stuff, but they've been a pretty consistent band through and through, early 2000s up until now. Not really any complaints here. I've listened to, pretty good portion of their songs, not their entire discography, not all the way through, which at the end here. I'll be like, first track on this album, right? The Killer. One of those supercharged, get you amped up rockers. Talking about, I guess, individuals that might be like throwing stuff at you or throwing stuff in your face, and you're trying to just get away from that kind of stuff. Like, okay, I'm through with this mumbo jumbo, whatever. You're throwing your shade at me. Get out of here. I don't want to have anything to do with it. Something of that nature. Okay, so we have Blessing. Vivid sounding song. It kind of paints a picture that's like someone that's maybe struggling with somebody that happens to be pulling them under. Somebody that's, I don't know, bringing them under some sort of oppression. They're going through something and trying to break away from that. So that's what the blessing has something to do with. And it's a blessing in disguise, which is what the title is supposed to be implying, that person happened to be in their life to give them that, I want to say a lesson. Let's say a lesson. So it's a blessing. And that's what it's really going for in this one. Then we have the Voodoo. Leading into Voodoo Doll, okay, we have The Killer, pulse pounding track, strong opener, Blessing, another strong, follow-up song. Then we have Voodoo Doll. Usually this is where it starts to get a little bit, okay, we're going to a coast here. It's still a strong track. And it's still coming off of Blessing. Following Blessing, it seems to add to the experience of Blessing, where you're underneath a spell, right? So it has similar vibes. It's still kind of, it's using a lot of metaphors. Voodoo doll, I'm not your voodoo doll. I'm not underneath your spell anymore. I'm breaking away from this. I'm getting away from you. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. So that's essentially what we have here with Voodoo Doll. And it's still a strong track. It's still, all three of these tracks together, like hard, strong, starter songs for an album. First one being more fast-paced. The other two just being more mid-tempo, strong riffs. Nice solo work on Voodoo Doll. There's some solo work in there. And I'm not going to dissect because, quite frankly, just not that well versed instrumentally and not very when it comes to doing that kind of stuff. But, and here's where we start to do the coast with Nothing to Say. Okay? So, with Nothing to Say, this is going into kind of a finding yourself kind of song. This is a song it's softer, right? It's softer. There may be, I don't know if there's any acoustic in this particular song. There could be. Maybe I'm not hearing it as much because there's a couple different songs that actually have some acoustics. Maybe there's some in this one too. It might not be. But it's definitely a softer, uh, mellower song. Um, and it feels like it's trying to ask for help. The individual protagonist, whoever, you know, or the individual who's actually singing the song, asking for some sort of a help. Like, I need help out of here. Accepting the blame for something, accepting the blame for your mistakes, um, things that you've done in your life, trying to move past it. I need a helping hand. That's where that's coming from. Then we have Time. Like Time, another pretty strong track anyway. Just essentially pointing out that we definitely live, you know, uh, we're living in hard times and there's not a whole lot of time to waste. So time's not on your side. You know what I mean? We gotta keep moving forward, kind of thing. That's essentially where that song goes. Not too special. I mean, as far as overall, I mean, lyrically it's okay. Uh, Hold on to what you believe. Like, I feel like it does talk about what you believe and trying to hold on to that, which is something that we need to do. And it definitely need to stay strong, hold on to our beliefs, stick to our guns, essentially. Unless there's things that could be adjusted. I'm always somebody that advocates adjusting beliefs accordingly. If you feel you've had something and it might not be quite true, might be a little bit false, I'm always open-minded about things. So yeah. Then we have Picture Perfect, the title track of the album. Picture Perfect, along with the video, again, I think I already did talk about and speak about what does the album imply. A snapshot in time. Okay? Simpler time, better time. That's what the video implied, and that's what the song implies as well. Looking in the light, in the darkness, something for fools. Like maybe somebody who was searching in the darkness to find something wasn't finding anything. Maybe just making a lot of mistakes. Maybe that's where that song could be going a little bit. Making a lot of mistakes, but wanting to go back to a simpler time. Let's go back to this time. I would love to do that. A lot of people would love to do that. So I mean, all these are strong tracks. Nothing to say going into Time. Picture Perfect, really good. So really strong, just off the jump, first almost half of the album. So we're coming into Save Yourself, another strong sounding song, more aggressive guitars. And now this sounds like he's coming from a place of trying to explain to somebody, like you're just wasting your life away, essentially. Like you're wasting your life, and I'm trying to help you, and you're not quite wanting to be helped at all. It doesn't feel like you're wanting to be helped. Like maybe there's individuals out there that claim to want to be helped, claim to want to be saved, don't necessarily actually truly want it at the end of the day. Like maybe they just don't know what they want. And there's a lot of people out there that really don't know what they want. And even this individual in this, if you listen to some of these songs throughout, it seems like an individual who is kind of lost. He's trying to find himself and trying to figure things out as he goes, and I think a lot of people are these days, and some people might do that earlier in life, or we're doing that throughout our whole lives. Maybe that's a big metaphor for this album and just for life in general, that we're all trying to figure things out. So yeah, Save Yourself. People who do want to waste their time, people who are just blah 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 doing their thing, and people who try to help them out but they don't want helped, or you know what I mean. So people who just go deeper in the rabbit hole, and it happens. But it's a really good song. And Lurleen seems to be a lost love kind of song. One of those lost love songs. You happen to be in a relationship, maybe it went sour, maybe something happened. Again, wanting to go back to that time, going back to the relationship, which, if it was something that happened years ago or something like that, it's time to kind of move past that. But, I can understand that feeling of wanting to go back and be like, oh, well, if I could have done this, or if I could have done that, that was so stupid of me, you know what I mean? I think we all probably have moments like that where we do want to do that. And this album does it goes through that often. You know what I mean? It goes through that like, oh man, just go back to that time, and it just almost feels like it's like you're kicking yourself in the face, or you're kicking yourself for things that you didn't do, and it feels like an album that's kind of self-reflection. This is a self-reflection album, and there's definitely a lot of songs that are just like looking at oneself in the mirror, and also still looking at all the things that happen and putting it into perspective, I guess. It's a perspective album. So yeah, so that's a strong song. It's a softer song too. It has a bluesy, kind of a softer country-esque type sound. And there are a couple songs that sound like this. Like towards the end, you'll get that. Memphis is kind of weird because it never mentions Memphis at all in the lyrics. And maybe it's just me. Maybe I didn't catch it yet. I didn't particularly catch the song or that, the lyric Memphis. But it's a political song actually. And there's actually a couple songs out here, or yeah, a couple songs in here that sound more like just, looking at the world, examining it, seeing flaws, problems in the political system, and are just overall, you know, yeah, just the way people are living their lives. And Memphis seems like one of those, like it has like one of those lead-ins. It's like an oh snap, and you can quote me on that one. Oh snap! I'm calling these oh snap riffs where it feels like it's leading into something and it's getting ready to tell you something. It's getting ready to, the oh snap riff, like, you know what I mean? Just something that's going in, and something that's impending. Uh, yeah, basically what I have down here. One of those songs that takes a look at the world, how to fix it possibly, or just waking up, or just kind of showing you, that side of things. Hey Man, kind of more or less a song, and that's another one that's kind of a hard song too. I think it might have a solo wrapped in there somewhere, the Memphis. But then we lead into Hey Man, and Hey Man I think is more of like a leadership song. It's like taking a leadership role and actually almost, from all those other songs that were like, okay, we have one that was taking a look at things, or one that's, I don't know, looking at yourself and reflecting upon yourself and all that stuff. And now it's just like, okay, now breaking away from all that, now you're rebuilding yourself, and you might as well take a leadership kind of role. And that seems to be what Hey Man's trying to do. Like taking a leadership role, taking a lead in your own life, and grabbing life by the horns kind of song. And it's a pretty strong song. I'm going to say that kind of stuff a lot. It's strong. Like if it has that punch or that feel, that it grabs you. And a lot of these songs do kind of grab you a little bit. Nothing too out there, nothing that gets too, I want to say too involved and too intricate. You know what I mean? But there's definitely some elements. There's some layers to these songs. There's a lot of layers to the song and the album in general, but nothing that's breaking any molds. I want to say there is nothing here that is really breaking any molds, but as far as an album, a good listener, and 12 Stones in general, being a consistent band, they've always made pretty strong albums, hard rock, alternative rock albums. Easy to listen to. They're easy to digest. So yeah, and this is a good one. So yeah, taking the lead in Hey Man, and then How Long. Let's say maybe like the world changing around you. Still, kind of coming off of, Memphis. Hey Man, is how long? Like how long are we going to be living in this life the way we're living it? That's essentially what the question how long is. It's trying to say. How long are we going to be doing this? You know what I mean? Until we actually do start to wake up and see these things. And I think it does say that, like the lyrics, you know what I mean? It kind of emphasizes that a little bit. And I think we can see clearly that there are a lot of things that people are noticing. And even within the music industry, you can definitely see that there's a lot of artists, especially in some of the songs and the albums that I've been reviewing, where people do see the things that are going on. And a lot of people are starting to wake up and become woke to just the overall economic, political system, and just how things are deteriorating slowly but surely, not only in America but just worldwide. And again, I'm not going to get religious with any of this right now. There are some religious themes, religious tones with some of these songs. They always have like uplifting, somewhat spiritual elements to their songs. 12 Stones has always been kind of, they've kind of been pretty good about that. That's one of the reasons I kind of enjoyed them too. It's like one of those like hype bands that can kind of get you revved up, like whether you're in a workout or doing whatever, maybe just jamming in a car, you're jamming with your friends or something like that. And yeah, there's some spiritual elements, but more or less in their previous work than in this one, but it's still there. It's still present. But yeah, just living in the world, and how long are we going to live in it like this? And then we have kind of a dark one, and it might be kind of a dark one for most people, but it's also soft. It's a softer track, and like I said, the last few of this record, stronger, harder, aggressive songs, but pointing out certain things, the world, and stuff like that. This one, for some people, who have dealt with thoughts, depression, extreme bouts of anxiety, personality disorders or anything like that. I'm somebody that can relate to a lot of these things, which is why I do connect with this album quite a bit. And you can look at some of my previous videos, of course. And again, I don't want to go into too much detail. This is an album review. But this one is called Hello Suicide. And Hello Suicide is definitely really just a reflection of somebody who's pretty much reached their rock bottom, considering doing something like that. It's a very dark song. It's a sad song if you really want to look at it. Lyrically speaking, I didn't even write down a lot of the stuff when it came to the lyrics. I want somebody to actually, I want you to actually experience that song for yourself. But it's got more of a country, acoustic song. So it's got that feel to it. I think there's somebody. There happens to be somebody walking over there. But yeah, it's as far as a closer, it's a very good closer, but a sad one. A sad note to end the album on after all of that. But I guess it kind of does wrap up the album in such a way that it's like, okay, after looking at the world, after looking at yourself in the mirror, after, saying you want to be the best person you can be, the strongest person that you can be for people, and just trying to like wake people up or trying to do these kind of things, that maybe you just feel depleted at the end of it, and maybe that's what that song is. It's like you feel depleted, or you just feel like it's all for naught, like it's all in vain. Maybe Hello Suicide, maybe that's just a familiar feeling that some people do tend to go through. Not just myself. I mean, I've had some times where I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. I don't feel that way anymore, so I'm just letting anybody know that I'm fine, but I'm just saying that I've had my moments. Like, and then we have two re-recordings. There's two re-recorded songs. We have Anthem for the Underdog and We Are One. Both pretty strong songs if you've ever listened to them on any of their previous albums. They sound pretty identical too, so that just means that the band as a whole, they're pretty on point. The songs, they're edited, they sound almost exactly the same. Not really any real differences. Maybe they just remastered the songs, but they do sound pretty darn similar to the original recordings. So I have to say that that's another thing that makes it good, is that they're consistent with their sounding really good on record. Those songs being pretty strong songs on their own. I'm not reviewing those songs because they're on previous albums. Maybe I'll review those albums at some point. Who knows? But yeah, overall, this is a good album. I gave it about a 4 because I wasn't really set on what I was going to give it. It seemed like a song, like a band. You know what I mean? It's, like I said, it's a consistent band. I've already seen some reviews. Some 4s, some 4.5s. Not a complete 5, obviously not a perfect album. I'm going to give it about a 4. But yeah, it's a really good album. It's a strong album. I recommend somebody who likes uplifting music, likes, hard rock, alternative rock sounds, to try to pick this album up. I don't think it's going to be available at like Walmart and stuff like that. I don't really know where this album's available. Maybe just online. You could try to look at Target, Best Buy, some of these other places, but definitely Amazon, iTunes, stuff like that to pick this album up. But it's a pretty strong album through and through. Uh, so there, I think I've pretty much said everything that I could possibly say. I don't want to babble on anymore. Babylon. Babylon the Great? No. Babylon. I don't want to babble on anymore. I'm going to